So this is the instructions for the journal entries for the characters that you chose in your character profile. For this, you are going to step into the shoes of the enslaved person, so the slave that you have been assigned, and write a series of short journal entries from his or her point of view. I will give you a number of situations that you will have to respond to from your character's perspective. Make sure that any details that you make up about your character are believable and closely in keeping with what you know about the experiences of enslaved people at the time. So basically, you're going to consider, does does the character that you're portraying have a family? What are their thoughts? Is it a female? Is it young or old? Is the person young or old? In some cases in these journal entries, you will have to make decisions for your character. Be sure to explain the reasons for your decisions and consider what the consequences of those choices will be. For example, if you decide to run away to a maroon community, what will you eat? How will you avoid being captured from the colonial authorities? What will happen to your family? Each journal entry should be no longer than 5 sentences. So things to consider when you're doing your journal entries. So they did not know for sure what the conclusion of this revolution would be. And there had been other slave revolts before this one, and all of them had been quelled or put down by the colonial authorities. In 1791, rebel leaders were demanding improvements in working conditions, not an end to slavery. Most masters held absolute power and responded to any disobedience with violent punishments. What would be the cost of rising up against them? If the revolt failed, what would happen to those who had left the plantation and fought against the whites? Would they be caught and killed? Would they have to answer for the destruction that had been caused? Would they be forced to live as fugitives in a maroon community? And if they succeeded, would the results be any different? So for the first journal entry, you're going to write a journal entry describing what daily life is like for your character. And remember the slides that talked about what daily life was like and the conditions. Try to include details such as what you spend your days doing, your relationships you have with other enslaved people and colonists, and how you feel about your circumstances.